Anything that might be...
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today at Progressive Soup. My name is Emily Volpintesta, and today we have a returning guest, Stavros Mastrogiannis. He's the owner of Olympus Personal Training, soon to be Live Your Way Thin.
Thank you.
You specialize in personal training and coaching. You're also an author and a speaker and a sustainable weight loss specialist.
Yep.
Welcome to our show. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. And today we thought we would talk about the Milan Expo 2015 in Milan, Italy. This year running from May 1st to October 31st. And the theme this year is food. And in Italian, it's Nutrire il pianeta, energia per la vita, which means feeding the planet and energy for life. So we thought we'd talk about that today.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic.
Yes.
And it was brought to my attention, actually, one of my clients, he loves reading. We actually have a very interesting conversation with this guy, very nice guy, and he actually read about it.
Right.
And he goes to me, Stavros, you should check this one out. It sounds pretty interesting. And they were talking about how by the year, I think 2050, we're going to have over 9 billion people on Earth.
Right.
And with the current methods of food production, there's a good chance that we actually might not have enough food to feed everyone.
Right.
Or also the food might become so expensive that it'd be very hard for people to buy food.
Okay.
So then I started looking up, started reading about it. And,
right.
And what I noticed was the theme in every pavilion. I looked at different countries. Every country has their own pavilion, and Greece, Russia, United States, we all have one.
Right.
But what I found interesting was everybody was talking about how to produce more food, how to produce more food actually with less energy, which I think it's great. I mean, I think we should be looking into that aspect of how can we produce more food with less energy,
right.
More nutritious food. But nobody looked at the fact that we're overeating.
Right, exactly.
Imagine if everybody start eating less, how much food we would actually save.
No, it's true. Because it's talking about this whole issue of eating less and having enough food to feed the planet, because, online they're making it seem like it's this problem, This expo is going to focus on the theme talk about the problems of nutrition and the resources of our planet and how we're going to exchange, ideas on these challenges which impact us. But I remember growing up how it was like Ethiopia, people starving. Yeah. We had Hands Across America, We Are the World, and it was all about people are starving. But no one really thinks about eating less. It's all about, for me, I remember this fear of not having enough food, yeah. Which is interesting because now you're talking about eating less.
I mean,
this expo is about
producing
eating
more.
Yeah.
Which I actually think that is there is a problem I think that we need to address, and I think it's a very good thing that they're doing this.
Right.
But I think we also need to look at both sides, and that's why I'm on your show, and that's why I've written quite a few books. I'm actually in the process of writing another one right now,
right.
And addressing the other end of the issue.
Right.
For instance, I don't know if you know this, in the United States right now, the average male eats approximately 2,600 calories. The average female around 1,700 calories.
Right.
Do you know what the average person in Okinawa eats? And by the way, Okinawa has one of the, actually I think it's the longest lifespan in the world.
Right.
1,200 calories.
Wow.
So again,
yes.
They're smaller people, so I guess, of course they're not going to need as many calories as we do, but they're not that much smaller. So they require half the calories we do.
And it's interesting because if you look at on a food label, it'll say, the percentage of, vitamins and minerals. It'll say based on a 2,000 calorie diet.
And I personally think 2,000 calorie diet is way too many calories.
Right.
I mean, give you a personal example. I looked up the formulas of how many calories I should be eating.
Right.
For my activity and for my size. The formulas come out to between 2,200, 2,400 calories per day.
Right.
Okay. Now, I don't really count calories because I believe in my 3 rules: eat only when hungry, eat slow and mindful, and stop eating when you satisfy your hunger.
Right.
And but I went back and looked at how many calories I actually eat.
Yes.
I average around 1,700.
Okay.
So, and a lot of nutritionists have told me, like, well, you're under eating. Well, my question is, if I was under eating, how come my weight for the past 2 years or so has stayed the same?
Right.
And how come my strength keeps going up? If I was under eating,
right,
I should be losing weight.
Right.
And my strength should be going down, and it's not. Why? Because I personally believe that the formulas are actually overestimating, way overestimating, actually. And the truth is, we really don't know how many calories we really need for optimum health.
Okay.
And so the focus I want to bring onto this expo is that let's look at also the fact that people eat without being hungry.
Right.
In other words, food has been used now as entertainment more than anything else.
Exactly.
When was the last time you thought of, am I hungry?
Right.
Well, I know you do now, but
before. Now I do.
How many times have you stopped and thought, or anyone, am I hungry?
Right. No, in fact, this event is being billed as an event for foodies, people that like to eat, like food. So they're saying if you like food, it's not about whether you're hungry, it's just if you like food, go to this expo, try all this different food. Eat.
I agree. And by the way, I love food.
Right.
I enjoy my food. As a matter of fact, I would even tell people that eating only when hungry, you're going to get more enjoyment out of food.
It's true.
And a lot of people talk about, in Italy, in Greece, we used to have this big feast. But the fact that a lot of people miss is that in Greece, on average, when I lived in Greece, we ate twice a day.
Right.
We had lunch and dinner.
Right, exactly.
We weren't eating nonstop throughout the day, the small meals, and all the snacks. We were hungry when we ate.
No, in Italy too. Usually the main meal's in the middle of the day, and then at dinner you might have something light. But breakfast is pretty much just a coffee and a pastry.
In Greece, same thing. Is breakfast was for adults was almost non-existent.
Right.
And lunch for us was the largest meal, but we took a nap after lunch.
Right. That's
now
true.
In the villages where my mother was raised, lunch was a small meal, dinner was the main meal. And the reason that is because how do you feel after eating? You want to take a nap.
Exactly.
That is why in Greece, I know in Italy, and other countries, they took naps in the afternoon after eating this big meal. Now, in the United States, and I think most of the Western world, unfortunately, we don't have a 3-hour lunch break. So my suggestion is make dinner your main meal. This way you can rest after eating so you can digest the food properly.
Right, of course.
The people in the village knew this. Now, how do they know? It's another question, but they knew that, if I eat a big lunch, I'm not going to be able to work in the fields. So what they did was they made it very light lunch, big dinner. I remember as a kid when we used to collect olives for a couple of weeks, in September.
Okay.
Dinner became our main meal.
Oh.
Because during the day we had to work collecting olives. We took it was a light lunch.
Right.
And again, we knew instinctively how to eat.
Right, of course.
And I think that we need to start talking more about why we're eating in the first place.
Right, exactly. And talking about the expo, why do you think they're not talking about eating less?
Well,
who's benefiting from people eating more?
I think the reason is because think about it, who's involved in the expo? Okay, food companies.
Right. Yes.
So of course, food companies are going to focus on food. How can we produce more food? How can we produce healthier food?
Right.
Their job is not to be focusing on whether you're hungry or not.
Right, exactly.
That's my job.
Right.
And other people like me, it's our job. And that's why, in a way, I don't really blame the food industry, by the way, for focusing on producing more food, because that's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And to me, I don't want to put the food industry in charge of our weight.
Right, of course.
I think that the question everybody needs to ask ourselves, am I hungry?
Right, exactly.
And that's what all my books are about, is about teaching people how to eat. Actually, first of all, also focusing on not just eat out of hunger, but determine what hunger is, because unfortunately a lot of people don't even know what hunger really is.
Right.
They're mistaken cravings
Right.
for hunger.
Exactly. And it's almost as if when you do start to go through figuring out what real hunger is, it's almost as if you kind of go through a withdrawal, I've
Yes,
found.
yes,
You know? And
yes.
it's like you're getting off a drug. Or
Exactly, because it is a withdrawal. Not like people that got enough coffee, right?
Right.
You go through a period of had headaches. You actually, a lot of people go through the same withdrawal, because you'll find that once you learn to eat out of hunger,
Right.
you're gonna end up eating once or twice a day.
Right. Yes.
And again, I'm not saying that that's how I eat, but I'm not saying I never eat. I always eat only when hungry. On the weekends I relax a little bit. It's okay to overeat once in a while. It's
Right.
okay to indulge a little bit and use food as entertainment. The point I'm trying to make here is that I'm trying to do this all the time.
Exactly.
I have the 80-20 rule.
Right, okay.
80% of the time, eat out of hunger.
Right.
20% of the time, don't worry about it.
Right. Yes.
Life is too short to be worrying about all these rules all the time.
Exactly.
And another side benefit, by the way, of eating only out of hunger is health and weight loss.
Right. Yeah.
So never mind that we're saving the planet.
Right.
It's also the fact that we're saving ourselves.
I think it's interesting that they picked this theme of saving the planet, because I think being green and going green is such a, everyone wants to go green these days. And it's almost as if they picked this thinking, if we talk about saving the planet, it's I don't know if you say politically correct, but it's just what's in. It's the in thing.
Yes. Being green, I think, has become the in thing, and again, I have nothing against it, but I think that's the eat only when hungry is another aspect of it that we need to start focusing on, because besides the fact that you're going to lose weight, you're also going to save money on your food budget too. I have clients that have learned my method,
right.
And I get reports that people save between $50 to up to $200 a week.
Wow.
I had one client that used to eat out pretty much every meal.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when he started eating out of hunger, he found himself eating once or twice. He goes, the amount of money I'm saving per week is a lot.
No, it's true.
And as a side benefit too, if you're taking a lot of medication for different sicknesses, you'll find yourself that you'll be taking a lot less drug. You'll be getting sick less often.
Right.
A lot of people get over diabetes, type 2, high cholesterol. They're able to do it to eating less, which means you have to take the drug, which is another savings.
Exactly.
I think it's good all around.
No, I do. And I think it's interesting that you said, we're so focused on eating and feeding the planet, and we're not talking about eating less. And I think that no one talks about that. You know?
Eating less? What's that?
And it's in the media everywhere.
Yes.
Look, it's TV. You go to the gas station, there's television screens saying you go inside, buy a candy bar, get soda. Magazines everywhere, billboards. Yes. We're just bombarded with these images of food.
And you bring a very good point up.
Right.
And I think that's the main reason why, although I personally consider eating out of hunger the most important habit anybody can develop. By far. I don't think anything else even comes close to that.
Right.
And yet, you never hear about it. And I think the main reason is because exactly what you said was that, fruits and vegetables, they have their advocates.
Right.
Meat, they have their advocates.
Right.
Dairy has their advocates, right?
Yep.
So what happens is, who's advocating for eating less?
Right.
Eating only hungry. Who makes money? No one.
Right.
And that is why. So I don't think anybody's going out of the way to cover it up.
Right.
But I think that nobody's promoting it because, unfortunately, there's nobody to profit from it.
Right.
The only person that profits is you, the person who's doing it. So that's why you're not going to ever hear about it. And again, I don't want to come across I'm blaming the food industry for it. The food industry is going to promote the products.
Right.
That is how to make money, and I don't blame them. My job is try to help people lose weight and keep it off. So that is why people like me are trying to promote this one habit, which I think, again, if you do the research on eating only when you're hungry, you'll be basically almost solves every major disease.
Right.
Just simply eat out of hunger. And if you look at every healthy region around the world, that's how they eat.
No, and it's funny what you said about saving the planet. Saving the planet, we could one person at a time if they just ate less.
Yes. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I was reading, I can't remember where I was reading this, that if the world ate like we do in the United States,
Right.
we run out of food at a much shorter time than if we ate like the Chinese.
Oh,
Because if we ate like the Chinese, I think the food supply will last twice as long. Again, I don't want to be quoted. I can't remember where I read this, but I thought it was a very interesting quote that that eating like the Chinese, we can last almost twice. Our food supply can last almost twice as long. And if you look at the calories, I was just explaining before that in the United States we eat almost twice as many calories as these people from Okinawa, which have the longest lifespan in the world.
Right, right.
So, and I'm not saying to go that low either, but, and again, I don't even want to count calories.
Right.
Because the fact is this, just because you ate 2,000 calories, it doesn't mean your body absorbs 2,000 calories.
Right.
A lot of the calories go through your system without getting absorbed.
Right, exactly.
So the honest truth is, to me, counting calories, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
We have to learn to pay attention to our bodies.
Right.
Because that's how, the body tells you when it needs food through hunger. I think once you learn to identify what hunger is and eat because of it, most of the time,
Right.
you're set.
No,
You don't have to worry about calories, you don't have to worry about points, you don't have to worry about counting how much food's on my plate.
right, exactly.
You eat. And now the next question that people need to, the next thing we need to find a solution to, what do you do instead of eating?
Exactly. That's what people ask me all the time. They ask, well, how did you lose weight? I said, well, you only eat when you're hungry. And they said, well, what do you do in between? Then what do you do? And I said, you find something else to do.
I mean, and that's actually the biggest problem because again, if you're using food as entertainment,
Right.
well, if you stop eating,
Right.
then you got to entertain yourself somehow.
Exactly.
So now with all the smartphones, it's the easiest thing.
Right.
The solution that my clients have come up with is like, if I feel like snacking, I know I'm not hungry,
Right.
I'll take my iPhone out and I play a game.
Right.
There's so many games on there.
Right.
Or I'll take a walk.
Yeah.
Or I would drink a glass of water. There's
Right.
so many things you could do, but you got to ask the question though.
Right.
You got to ask, what else can I do instead of eating?
Well, in that case, eating food would be an addiction, really. But
Yes.
that's another issue.
But that's the problem is that
Yes.
the issue is that food has become an addiction that we eat without being hungry.
Right.
So that it's very hard to stop it.
Yeah.
But not impossible. But you have to have, if you have the motivation to do it,
Right.
you could do it. But the problem is, though, a lot of people mistaken hunger as an emergency. Matter of fact, we associate a lot of bad things with hunger. And I think that's part of the issue.
Oh, like starvation, you mean?
Yes, you
Right.
think of hunger,
Yeah.
people think of that the metabolic rate is going to slow down. They think that their body eats up all
true.
their muscles, that it holds on to the fat. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, all those things are not true.
No, it's true. And they might almost they might say it to scare people
Yes.
into eating.
Well,
Right.
in the way, yes.
Yeah.
I think it creates such a fear. Like I told my clients, that if you're not hungry, don't eat.
Right.
So the question I get a lot is, well, what happens if it's 12 o'clock, it's my lunch break,
Right.
I'm supposed to eat, but I'm not hungry.
Right.
But at 1 o'clock, I have a meeting that runs for 3 hours.
Right.
What should I do then?
Right.
I said, don't eat.
Right.
But what happens if I get hungry in the middle of the meeting? Nothing. Don't eat. Nothing happens to you
Right.
if you go hungry
Right.
and you can't eat. Of course, unless you're diabetic, that's a different story.
Of course.
But for the average person,
Yeah.
nothing happens.
No, it's true.
It's not an emergency.
Yeah. It's like they think they'll turn into a pumpkin or something. Yeah.
Your metabolic rate, by the way, does not slow down. Matter of fact, I was reading a couple of studies that showed that even if not eating for 3 days, the metabolic rate goes up 2 to 5%.
Okay.
So now your body goes into starvation mode,
Right.
according to the studies I was reading, after 4 or 5 days without eating. And nobody's suggesting that, by the way. Nobody's suggesting that eating. We talk about wait till you're hungry, so you end up eating once or twice a day.
But then you're saying like your body burns fat too.
Yes, I
Yes,
mean
and
that's
why
also
you don't
true.
get hungry. That's why after you start eating less meals, you actually won't be hungry.
Exactly.
Because you're burning your fat.
Exactly. What they
Right.
found was that the body becomes more efficient at using fat as the main source of energy.
Right.
Also, what happens is what they found was the body also becomes resistant to leptin. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly.
Right, right.
That hormone basically tells your brain that you're full. What they found was that because we're eating nonstop, the body has high amounts of the hormone, the brain basically ignores it. It's like become insulin resistant.
Right.
So what happens is one of the benefits of allowing your body to go for prolonged periods without food, over 16 hours, and this includes sleeping, by the way, the body becomes more sensitive to the hormones, so all of a sudden you're not that hungry.
Right.
Because I know myself, like I said, on average I eat once a day.
Right, right.
And I have no lows during the day because, by the way, the reason a lot of people lose energy during the day because they're constantly digesting food, which requires energy.
Of course.
So I have no lows.
Right.
I don't feel hungry.
Right.
I feel great. And one less thing I need to worry about, what's for lunch.
Right.
Which I think is a nice benefit.
Right.
And when I go home, am I hungry when I go home? Yes.
Yes.
But I'm hungry. There's no pain involved.
Right.
And I get so much more enjoyment out of my food. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to my dinner.
Right.
So for those people who like eating and say, oh no, I can't do that, I'm telling you, you're going to get so much more enjoyment out of food.
Right, it's true.
You're going to really look forward to it. And the few times I do break the rule and I end up eating more during the day, again, nobody's perfect, and I don't expect anybody to be perfect.
Right, right.
I regret it at night. Because at night when I get home to eat,
Right.
I'm not that hungry, and
Right.
it's not the same.
Right, and you don't enjoy your meal.
And I don't enjoy my meal as much because remember, food tastes so much better
Right.
when you're hungry.
And another thing you say too is you don't focus so much on the scale because does your body at some point know it's the right weight for
Yes,
it?
I don't believe in weighing yourself all the time because you drive yourself crazy.
Right.
Besides, we don't have a weight problem.
Oh, we have a habit
We
problem.
have a habit
Yes.
problem. So the habit is what we need to focus on, not
Right.
the weight that we need to lose on the scale.
Maybe that's what they should be talking about at this expo. That
I
we should.
think in addition to what they're talking about,
Right.
they should also be talking about this too. Because I think what they're talking about is it's not bad at all. Again, I think it's something we need to address. But let's also address on the fact that we, in the Western world, we use food as
Right.
entertainment way too much.
Of course.
And again, nothing wrong. I went to the movies yesterday. And we had popcorn and Coke. Was I
Okay.
hungry? No.
No.
I enjoyed it because when I go to the movies, I like my popcorn and Coke. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, exactly.
What's wrong is when we doing this on a daily basis.
Exactly. And we just eat because we're bored and we have nothing else to do. And
Yeah, as a matter of fact, though, I always tell people, if you ever use the word boring to describe food, right there I know you're not eating out of hunger. Because, trust me, when you're truly hungry, a piece of stale bread tastes great.
no, it's true. It's true. No, it's definitely very interesting. And what types of food? What types of food? What types of food can people? I don't know what our producer just now. I don't know what he's talking. We just had a question from the studio.
So the type of foods.
Yeah, what kind of foods can you eat?
Okay, pretty much you can eat everything.
Okay.
I personally believe in a diet high in fruits and vegetables,
Right.
lower in meat products.
Which is the Mediterranean
Yes,
diet. Okay.
because that's the way in Greece we ate meat once. And by the way, when I say meat, I include chicken.
Okay.
Once or twice a week.
Right.
Now, of course, things have changed, but
Right.
when I lived there, on the island I was raised on,
Right.
we ate meat once or twice. That was all I meat. And if you look at health regions around the world,
Right.
they're mostly a vegetarian type of diet. Yes, they have meat.
Right.
Again, I'm nothing against meat. I enjoy my steak. But it's not every day.
Right, of course.
And same thing, so for me, predominantly a high fruits and vegetable diet, low in animal products.
Okay.
Eating out of hunger,
Right.
most of the time. So my rule is Monday to Friday, try to eat perfect weekend, relax.
Right.
And something, an occasional devil dog and your chips and your chocolate, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And again, I get so much more enjoyment out of my junk food now because I made them special and I eat them on occasion.
And it's interesting to mention too that you have a background at the culinary as a cook, chef.
Yes, I
Yeah.
graduated from the CIA.
Right.
So I came from the cooking end. I came from the food end.
Right,
So I
right.
do understand it, and,
Right.
I do get a lot of enjoyment out of food.
Right, of course.
But after I graduated, I realized that I enjoyed it, but not doing it for a living.
Right.
So I kind of got out of it, and I ended up in this business. And I think I said that last time that I got into it not because I had passion for exercise and fitness. It's because I realized the fitness professionals don't understand me.
Right.
In other words, because remember, most personal trainers, and again, they mean well, they have passion for what they do, for exercising.
Right.
And what happens is that they don't understand the average person who doesn't love exercising, who enjoys their devil dogs. And I think, and that's why I end up getting into the industry, because I truly understand the average person who doesn't like to exercise and who enjoys their junk food.
Right.
And that's what I really am addressing, trying to address with my programs and my books.
Okay. No, that's good. That's very, because I think a lot of people don't enjoy exercise. I mean, I was, when I wasn't passionate about running. And normally when I would work out with trainers, I'd end up hurting myself because I'd be pushing myself, running and doing all this exercise, and I'd burn out. And I wouldn't lose any weight, and it was very frustrating because a lot of trainers focus on the exercise and not the eating.
Yeah, both play an important role, because
right.
if, let's say, you're eating perfectly but you're not lifting weights,
right.
25% of the weight that you lose is actually muscle. That's why they all play the role. But the thing that I want to get across is you don't need to be killing yourself when you're exercising, though.
Right.
All you have to do is challenge muscles a little bit.
Right, exactly.
We're not joining the Olympics.
No, exactly.
And that's where I was getting burned out. Every time I had I would go to personal trainers when I used to go to the gym for myself
right.
20-some years ago.
Right.
And again, the advice they were giving me, I could not sustain. So I said, this is not working for me. I would work out for a little bit, or I get injured, or I burn out. And that's how I end up in the industry.
Right.
And now with my method, people are not able just to lose the weight, but keep it off. And to me, that is the key, keeping the weight off.
Right, exactly. And then if you want to keep the weight off, you have to have a lifestyle that's sustainable and not,
exactly.
You're not going to be measuring things.
Yep.
And you're not going to be, doing things that once you stop doing it, you're going to gain the weight back.
Because your habits will be keeping you fit.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea, is changing your lifestyle habits.
Right.
You fix those,
exactly.
you're set for life.
No, it's true. And don't they say if you teach a person to fish, they can fish for life? If you fish for a person, then...
Oh, no, if you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime.
Something like that.
And that's what I do with fitness stuff.
That's right. You teach people to fish.
That's right.
To eat.
Yep.
So, so it's interesting because here we are. We're about feeding people, feeding the planet. And so I guess in the end, how is your message different from what this... how is your message different from what this expo?
My message is, yes, eat healthy. Yes, we want to get better quality food and more nutritious. But my message is that learn to identify hunger and eat because of it most of the time. Never mind that you can, help the planet support more humans. Right. It's a nice side benefit. Also, you're going to improve your health and your well-being.
That's right.
And you can have so much more energy and extra cash on the side that you can spend on going to the movies because you have to spend it on food.
That's right, and you can have your popcorn and soda with that extra money.
That's right.
Well, thank you. That's it for our show. Thank you for joining us on Progressive Soup.
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Our guest, Stavros Mastrogiannis, Sustainable Weight Loss Specialist. I'm Emily Volpintesta. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.